Iran fired more deadly missiles targeting key Israeli facilities in Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and Haifa. Haifa is key because of its strategic and economic significance for Israel. Israel has said that the total number of people killed in Iran's retaliatory attacks so far has now risen to 24. Hundreds of people remain injured, and Israeli rescue agencies have been busy trying to pull out those still trapped underneath the rubble. Meanwhile, American Ambassador Mike Huckabee has said that the US consulate in Tel Aviv was damaged by the impact of Iranian missile, forcing the diplomatic enclave to shut down. Elsewhere, the Indian government, headed by Narendra Modi, distanced itself from the condemnation of Israel by the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. What do you expect from Modi? He is a man who himself presided over the genocide of thousands of Muslims in Gujarat during his time as the chief minister of the state in 2002. I should know this because I was there covering this pogrom for the BBC. But in a significant development, and this is massive, Iran has claimed that it hacked into Israeli air defense system for it to fail spectacularly. Israel has also now acknowledged that Iran's missile stockpile was far bigger than the propaganda spread by media outlets indirectly controlled by the rogue regime of Benjamin Netanyahu. Now let's look at these events in greater detail. Iran launched 2 rounds of intense missile attacks at key Israeli targets. We have uploaded these videos on our Telegram channel. You can watch them there, details on the screen. According to one BBC representative, Joe Flotto, the impact of the second round of Iranian missile strikes last night was the largest so far. He wrote, and I quote, "All night, people in Israel have been braced for more rockets." Just before 1 o'clock, the Israeli military announced that it was striking missile sites in Iran and instructed residents to move closer to shelters. 4 hours later, the response came with what felt like the largest barrage so far of this conflict. End quote. The reason why I'm quoting a BBC representative here is because the same Western media outlets have devoted hours claiming that Iran had a limited stockpile of missiles and therefore it had to ration its arsenal. This was Shashank Joshi from The Economist speaking on BBC 5 radio program this morning.
Now we're going to talk to The Economist's defence editor, Shashank Joshi. Morning to you, Shashank.
Very good morning.
I know that you've had a very busy weekend following all of this, commenting on it on various different parts of the BBC. But can you sort of give us a review of the last 3 days or so and assess where we're at the moment and how... If we were to kind of purely look at this in terms of Israel's intended strategy, how successful they've been so far?
Sure. I think I'd highlight a few key points. One of them is that Israel's strikes have been remarkably effective, but they have largely targeted Iran's military facilities, its military capabilities, its air defense network, its military leadership, rather than its nuclear sites. There have been several nuclear sites struck, an enrichment plant at Natanz, a facility for converting uranium gas into metals at Isfahan and some others, but it's fairly limited, and they haven't struck, or at least they haven't damaged, I ought to say, visibly, the most deeply buried nuclear site, which is under a mountain called Fordow near the city of Qom. So that's very important. So we're still in the early days, and the question is Israel going to get round to those nuclear sites once it's basically established complete air superiority and dominance of the battle space, or actually is it hoping America gets involved? And then the next thing I suppose you'd have to point out is that Iranian ballistic missiles have been firing at Israel every night. But I think it seems to me that the rate of fire has been maybe not always declining, but it's been intermittent. It's gone up and down. And I think Iran is probably having to ration its missiles, aware that this could go on for quite a while. It has a stockpile possibly of thousands, but if it's firing 100, 200 at a night, then that could run out fairly quickly. And I think what we're seeing is that when they are getting through, they're causing quite a lot of damage. People are dying in Israel, but only a minority of those missiles are getting through, and America is helping to shoot them down.
Contrary to Shashank Joshi's opinion, Israel's National Security Council chief, Tazachi Hanegbi, he conceded that Iran's missile stockpile was considerably more than originally estimated and propagated by pliable media outlets. He told Israeli army radio that Iran still has thousands of ballistic missiles at its disposal, indicating a higher figure than previously estimated. He also accepted that it was not possible to destroy Iran's nuclear program without the help of the US, adding that Trump alone can persuade Iran to abandon its nuclear facilities. So he's talking about persuading Iran to abandon its nuclear facilities rather than Israel's original plan to go and destroy them. He said, and I quote, "That's not possible. It cannot be done via kinetic means." End quote. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, Tehran has the largest and most diverse missile capability in the Middle East. Thousands of ballistic and cruise missiles of varying types complement its extensive use of drones, such as the Shahed family. These missiles and drones have so far wreaked havoc in Israel. Imagine if Iran had worked on its air power and gone nuclear long ago. Do you think Israel would still dare to launch an illegal attack on Tehran? The Iranian government is fast realizing what a grave mistake it has committed. It is reported that Tehran is likely to make some urgent course correction if it survives the current conflict. Iran has badly damaged key infrastructures in Tel Aviv by destroying the oil refinery, which is a lifeline for Israeli economy, Haifa power plant, and Haifa port. Many social media users also shared a video claiming that Iran had destroyed the Ben Gurion airport last night. But we couldn't verify this claim, hence our refusal to broadcast this video. Earlier today, the US Ambassador Mike Huckabee, staunch supporter of Israel, he took to Twitter to announce that even his country's embassy in Tel Aviv was damaged by one Iranian missile. He wrote, and I quote, "Our US embassy in Israel and consulate will officially remain closed today, as shelter in place still in effect. Some minor damage from concussions of Iranian missile hits near embassy branch in Tel Aviv, but no injuries to US personnel." He issued another clarification minutes later, as he wrote, and I quote, "Some confusion. There were no injuries to US personnel at US Embassy branch. The minor damage to property were from the shock waves, i.e. concussions from the nearby blast. No human concussions. Repeat, no injuries, thank God." End quote. Iran has repeatedly said it will also target the US, the UK, and French interests in the region if they are found to be helping Israel in any shape or form. Huckabee has reiterated that the damage caused to his country's consulate in Tel Aviv was not as a result of a direct attack by Iran. In an embarrassing development for Israel, several interceptor missiles fired from Arrow 3 defense system failed to function and exploded in the air soon after their launch. Iran claimed that it had hacked into the Arrow 3 air defense system and made them to explode. But others said that this was due to Iron Dome's own malfunctioning. What happened was that shortly after its launch, one interceptor malfunctioned, triggering a small mid-air explosion. Moments later, a larger blast followed as the wreckage hit the ground. As I said, Iran claimed in a statement that it interfered with the system, causing the missiles to target each other. Whatever the case, the video is embarrassing. It's embarrassing for Israel and the US, given that the Western media has never been tired of showering praises on the efficacies of Iron Dome, Arrow 3, and THAAD, declaring them the best air defense system in the world. You can watch that video on our Telegram channel. Iran has said that Israeli strikes in Tehran has killed more than 225 people so far. The topic is expected to dominate the G7 meeting starting in Canada later today. It's unlikely that this exclusive body of mostly genocidal maniacs, with an exception of Japan, would use this opportunity to condemn Israel for its barbaric act. These rogue politicians enjoy the slaughtering of innocent civilians by their partner Israel. That's why Israel has infinite immunity and it can commit any crime against any country it wishes to. Such is the depravity of these Western politicians that they would see a perfect rationale in Israeli crimes, even when, God forbid, their own loved ones are the victims of these violations. This war should have never happened. Israel should never have been allowed to commit a Holocaust in Gaza. But the fact that it has done so with no shame and full immunity is because of the genocidal maniacs running most countries in the G7 bloc. That's it from me. Thank you very much for your support of this platform and our journalism on buymeacoffee.com and Patreon. If you too think that our journalism is worth supporting, then you too should consider becoming part of it. Details are there in the description of this video. In the meantime, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so because that's one of the many ways you can support independent journalism. God bless you all.